Welcome to today's town hall for the HELIOGENIC civilization, in which we explore infrastructures of generosity towards the HELIOGENIC civilization. And I am extremely happy to welcome Paulinho here today. Powerful story to share and a beautiful project that he is building. And as usual, I'm not going to do too much of an intro. I'm just going to say this is recorded. If you feel uncomfortable about appearing on YouTube, please switch off your video. The format is Paulinho will present, then I will ask a few questions, and then we will open it to all of us. If you want to say something, raise your hand, and I will ask you to unmute yourself, and you can pose your question. If you want me to pose the question, please write it in the chat and indicate so. With that out of the way, Paulinho, please unmute yourself and share with us what you are working on, who you are, and what drives you. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everyone, for hosting me today. And I'm really privileged to be here at this moment. You know, it's really a great opportunity for me because I've seen with my 4 years working in refugee settlements. So I've seen incredible people doing incredible work creatively. And unfortunately, they don't get involved in such of sense-making conversation. But today, I get this opportunity. I'd say thank you to Thomas for hosting me and everyone for listening to me today. So my name is Paulinho, and I'm from Uganda, Naki Valley Refugee Settlement, where I'm a refugee. So I'll try to sharing my screen and screen about myself. Yeah. So I'm a refugee from Uganda, and since 2017. So I've been like to learn about entrepreneurship. So I'm an entrepreneur and a certified permaculture teacher. So in 21 years after being a refugee here in Naki Valley, so I founded the UNIDOS projects. So currently I'm an ambassador in seed regenerative financial ecosystem and a business and leadership facilitator. So have to experience in DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, and I believe in horizontal leadership and decentralization. So with my work, I won different prizes and awards. So the first one I won is the Social Impact Awards and the Permaculture Magazine Awards and several nominations as well. So this year, I won the UN Arthur Award organized by USA for UNCR. So I dream about transforming refugee camp into regenerative community where every refugee can have access to clean water, abundant food, and quality education. So today I want to talk about my organization that I founded in 2018 when I've reached here in Naki Valley Refugee Settlements. So it's called UNIDOS Social Innovation Center. So UNIDOS Social Innovation Center is a refugee-led organization that empowers young refugees through inclusive entrepreneurial skills to enable them create more opportunities and also active agriculture to enhance the livelihood of refugees here in Naki Valley. So today I want to present the main projects that we are focusing on. Although UNIDOS is kind of an umbrella that's running different projects, and especially in women empowerment. So transforming refugee settlements, the way I've been explaining, is also part of our vision. And we are really committed in doing so. But our focus currently is to make sure that refugees have access to food as one of the main basic needs. So the problem statements. So in Nike Valley Refugee Settlement, for many who are not familiar with, it is one of the oldest refugee settlements in Central Africa. And residents who are living currently are now surviving $3 worth 2 kilograms of beans as monthly food and dealing with infertile soil, low yield, and rising malnutrition rates in the harsh reality. So due to lack of enough food, so this results on malnutrition, and this malnutrition is affecting mostly children, as women and children represents 75% of population who are living in Nike Valley refugee settlements. Currently, the livelihood of refugee relying on agriculture, since we are facing the humanitarian aid currently. So I think this has started in since COVID. And the most, naturally, the land in Nike Valley refugee settlements is not fertile. So this forced most of farmers to use chemical fertilizer without knowing that destroying the ecosystem. And it makes more and more the soil to not being more productive, as it's losing nutrients when they're applying chemical fertilizer. So we came up with a solution, and this solution or a project is called Regisol. Regisol is a project that we have seen best fits the problem of soil which is not fertile. So we sit together with the community and conceive this project, which consists of collecting food wastes from market and community and turn it into organic fertilizer, with the aim to regenerate the soil and to boost its health. And in return, we get more agricultural productivity. So normally, after collecting these food wastes, we decompose it with earthworms. And these earthworms, after decomposition of this food waste, we get back what we call worm costing. And the worm costing is the organic fertilizer that we apply in the soil. So how it works: vermicomposting acts as a catalyst for soil regeneration, enhance crop resilience and soil health, while improving water orientation against climate change, especially in the droughts. So ecologically, we are regenerating the soil and make it more productive. And socially, we are working with the community to co-create food forests that will promote in return biodiversity and climate resilience. And economically, we empower farmer or encourage farmer to produce their own vermicompost, because we cannot produce enough to regenerate the whole Nike Valley refugee settlements. So what is exciting is the benefits that we bring for farmer and the community. So we enable farmer to shift not only to grow food, not only for consumption, but also to start also generating income. We reduced the agrochemical resilience to farmer around Nike Valley. And for the ecosystem, we enhance water retention in the soil, increase soil microorganisms, and crop resiliency to climate change. So we didn't forget to mention the benefits of our investors and donors. So when contributing or when investing in our projects, you contribute to achieve the SDGs: number one, no poverty; number 2, zero hunger, and number 15, life on lands. So honestly, investing towards health thought and supporting farmer in preventing hunger and malnutrition for children in refugee settlements. So when you are donating or when you are investing is what it is the cause that you spend your money on. So to make these projects more sustainable and not only rely on donation, so we develop a revenue model where we sell warm costing or the organic fertilizer. We sell also the liquid fertilizer, and also we sell the compost worms for everyone who wants to develop or wants to produce their own vermicompost. So, and currently there are almost 1,500 farmers who are now using our organic fertilizer here in refugee settlements. Why now? So I think we are currently facing the global crisis and everyone is aware of it. So this is economical crisis. There is financial crisis. There is climate crisis. There is also, apart from climate crisis, there is also food insecurity. But I will stick on the climate crisis mostly. So it will not mind if you are in Europe or you are in America or you are in Africa. So if you don't take action now, so I think we will facing the consequences. And we have seen so ridiculous scenarios. We cannot wait for the government to support our actions, or we cannot wait for the permission for everyone to support our action. As I've been saying, we have seen different scenarios of people who are committed to work on this, and yet there is nothing happening. There are so many agenda working to invest on climate change, but there is nothing that have been taken in action. Or people are just think this of advocating for climate change just to get donation and get maybe funds for this big organization. But they don't invest or take action forward just because they not see any consequences. But here in refugee settlements, we have seen already the consequences. We know really what is mean to when you reach in your home, there is no food. And you tell your children that today I was not lucky enough. So go to bed. Maybe we'll try again tomorrow to see if I will get food. I know this how it sounds on the ear of children, going to bed without eating, without their willing. But also this is motivated me to work hard and every morning figure out solution that will enable us to grow food in a way that we are meant in an environment repairing way. And I will call everyone to invest in this solution because investing in this extends beyond products scaling, or it is a commitment to earth regeneration, resilient soil, organic food, and reduced malnutrition, especially in refugee settlements. We need to start a new civilization where regeneration or regenerative agriculture will be the foundation of this new civilization. And it's now. and not tomorrow. We need to start passing through our agenda and make it as our to-do lists, as our commitment, as if the consequence that we want or we are projecting in the future or in after 2 years or 5 years, see it as it's tomorrow. It is better to prevent than healing. So we also have our team that is working on grounds, and also there are some also strategic advisor who also advise us on how we can really move forward and make sure that we reach our goal. So here is our contacts. So you can drop me an email on this, my address email, or send me on WhatsApp on this number, or explore our websites as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulinho. That was an amazing insight into what you're building. And I have so many questions, and I'm going to take the privilege to ask my first three questions and then open it to the others here to ask their questions. I want to begin my first question with something personal. So you are doing something extraordinary within a very dire situation. And I would be interested in hearing a little bit about what enables you to do that. How did you grow up in Congo? How did your upbringing influence your doing this now and the way you experienced early life?
Yeah, well, so when back in Congo, so my family had a farming background, but I was not really committed in doing that. But my dream was to be an expert in accounting. So this was my dream. So the war came when I was finishing up my secondary school and get a diploma in business and administration. And then the war came, and I've been forced to flee my country and being a refugee here in Naki Valley since 2017.
Mhm.
But what has motivated me in doing this, it's when, of course, when I came here, I found not bad the way I've been hosted, the help that UNCR have been providing. But in Corona, when Corona came in around 2019, so we get in the lockdown, and no one was authorized to go in, even in the farm. And most of people have been depending on World Food Program to get help with food. But we have seen that there was just a notification that World Food Program say we cannot really we are running out of funds, and we will be obliged to decrease on the food ration that you are getting. And since then, people have been getting almost 3 kilograms of maize, 1 kilogram of beans in 2021. And then after 2021, we transition in getting cash. And for the first time, we have been getting $10. And this has been keep on decreasing up to now $3 as a
And
monthly.
those numbers are all per month, right?
Yes. So we have seen how many people have been affecting with hunger. So it was not only about me who was not having a background in farming. So I've seen so many people, but through this situation, how we have been affected. So we have started doing farming because this was the only option.
Mhm.
And so I've been practicing traditional agriculture, but it was not working because the soil, compared to the soil that the soil that we're having in my home country and this one, it is not, it's quite different because this one is really a poor soil. There is no microorganism. And then we came up with this initiative. So many people have been, okay, so if you don't get growing food just naturally, so let's use chemicals. So people have been using chemicals. And then, of course, at the first trial, you get food. But the second one, the harvesting keep on decreasing as well. Just because the soil is losing its the little microorganism that it's having when applying the chemicals. So we sat together and said, okay, what can we do? Because although the different design that we have been teaching people, so it was not working. Reason why we say, okay, let's come up with another solution. Let's go back to the organic. Let's not compete with nature, but let's work with nature. And then we started recycling food wastes and then decompose it with earthworms. So after decomposition, we get the organic fertilizer. And this organic
Um,
fertilizer, we apply it in the soil.
My next question is on the very far opposite end of this question, which is you mentioned early on in your presentation that you have 2 years experience with DAOs. And then on the slide that you showed us about the process of how it works in the social positive effect, in the background, there was a house that had a logo of seeds. Are you working with Seeds, the organization that is doing basically distributed currency models? Because that's very interesting, because in a few weeks we will have the founder of Haifa, which is the underlying infrastructure of Seeds, and then in a few weeks we'll have Franz Josef here, who is the founder of Seeds. So it would be very interesting to hear from you about your experience with DAO, and if you're working with Seeds, about Seeds specifically.
Yes, I think I've been exploring the possibility of introducing crypto in refugee settlements and also to make sure that refugee gets also to create their opportunity or get the markets the currencies. So we take the course in learning about DAO and being introduced in Seeds and being an ambassador of Seeds here in Nike Valley Refugee Settlements. I've onboarded almost 100 people who have been using Seeds, and I've also developed some network in Seeds, and they're the one who have been helping me to setting up this education structure. I mean, the center, build the center where people are learning permaculture and other things, and even submitted a proposal of planting trees here in Naki Valley while rewarding people with this cryptocurrency. So we have been envisioning to build our local currency through Seeds, and reason why I've been committed in working with Seeds.
Beautiful. That is going to be an amazing bridge to the conversations with Ronnie and Franz Josef. Maybe throughout the course of today's conversation, we can explore that further. But I don't want to take too much time also from the others and their questions. One final question before we open it to everyone else. You were talking about investments and offering people to participate by providing resources to you. Can you talk a little bit about what that might look like? So what is it that you expect? Is it a philanthropic donation? Is it an investment into a company? Is it how much do you need? What would you do with the money? So can you talk a little bit about that for a couple of minutes?
Yeah, thank you. So currently we are exploring a way of scaling this project because we have done with the piloting. I think we have done with the piloting. What is remaining is just we are recycling data or that we can present to different organizations and people so that we move or to scale this and be able to serve, the demand in the community. So I've been talking about investing just because we cannot every time relying on donation. So of course, it's a future option that we are visioning to make this project sustainable. But currently, we want to make sure we supply the organic fertilizer at free to many farmers so that they get used. They shift from chemicals to organic. And once we have seen that there are several, people who are using chemical, organic, our products. So it is when we are going to make sure that we start selling the products. And this is when we are going to, we need the investments. But currently we are in need of donation, but also if there is a grant opportunity, I think this is what we are needed of. And we are focusing first in Nike Valley refugee settlements, but with a need of replicating this solution in other refugee settlements where we have conducted a survey called Kyangwale Refugee Settlement. It's another refugee settlement located in Uganda, where we have developed 5 food forests. And here in Nike Valley, we want to make sure that we scale our vermicompost unity and make sure at least we regenerate almost 10 acres per year.
Okay. And when you say 10 acres per year, just to follow up, and then I'll shut up and let the others ask questions. But to do these 10 acres, how much does that mean in terms of money that you need per year in donations?
So I think we will need 20. Let me check my budget. I think we'll need $20,000 per year to make sure that we.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, Pauline, for that amazing work that you're doing. I want to go back to all of us here in the room and welcome everybody who joined in the meantime. As you know, this is recorded, so you can rewatch the presentation Pauline gave earlier. In a nutshell, he is creating a system of helping farmers in Naki Valley, which is the largest refugee settlement in Africa, I think, right? With 120,000 people, something like this.
Yeah.
Paulinho, yeah. To move into, sorry?
150,000 people.
To move into organic and permaculture, agriculture principles. So with that, if you have a question, please raise your hands, your physical or virtual hands, so I can see that you would like to ask Pauline a question. And I will ask you to unmute yourself and pose your question. Peter, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pauline, for sharing your work with us. It's very impressive. My question refers to one topic you mentioned, which was, as I remember, you said about 75% of the population in the refugee camp are women and children, right? Already is in there. So my question is, in regard of the work you're doing in transforming the ground, organic soil composting, how much take women part in that work? How much are they involved, right, in being part of the working group and part of these efforts? So that's one topic. And the other one beyond that, is there efforts and needs underway in developing the communities where women are actively involved, take part, get supported from your side, or anybody in there? And then the other question I have is in regard of the children. Is there any efforts already underway in terms of starting education towards them, so preparing them with the thinking, right? The need for change, the issues with chemical, all of the topics you mentioned and you raised, and creating awareness among them. So is that already also happening, or is it a too early stage to do all of that?
Yeah, thank you, Peter, for your question. So about women involvement in our work. So part of our beneficiaries, we always tag 60% of our beneficiary need to be women, and 40% need to be men. And about that, we, as I've been saying, UNIDOS is kind of umbrella of so many projects. And about this project, we have a woman empowerment programs or departments. I can say that's they, after learning about regenerative agriculture and permaculture, they have came up with different projects that are mainly focusing on empower women. And one of them is mushroom projects, and is have been conceived to empower women to be financially dependent, but also while growing mushroom and sell it on the market. But also this also have an impact on children who have malnutrition. Mushroom with it's a nutrient food that respond on malnutrition for children. And another project that they are doing is the soap making, the organic soap making. They're using moringa trees, so it's a medicine plants that they are using to make soap. And of course, they sell it in the community as well. So all these activities make sure that we involve women in part of mission, part of our work, so that also they can be part of the change that we want to create here in refugee settlements.
Thank you.
Peter, do you have a follow-up?
Maybe just on that topic for the children, the effort for caring for them, involving them, education, anything you can share?
Yeah, so I think they are that's on some of education or schools. They've been providing so this porridge that they are doing for children, but not everyone. So these are schools are not affordable for many refugees. I can say that there are already solutions that have been developed to make sure that these children are safe from malnutrition. But so what I've been explaining is what is people are facing, or which is underground currently.
Thank you.
Thank you. Musa, welcome. Please unmute yourself and pose your question.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, boss. And I also want to say thanks to our brother for the great work he's doing, or they are doing together with his team. My question goes like this, because in as much as the initiative is a laudable one, I think we are doing here is geared towards sustainability. So I just want to know, because they are not going to be there forever with all this great initiative. There must be a time that they will leave those communities, or those people needs to go back maybe to other areas. So what are the strategies that you have put in place with regards to sustainability. So like when you left, that you ensure that this program continue for the next generation to come. What are the strategies that you guys have put in place to ensure that? And I also hear from you, you said like it's more like focusing on women, which is great. But like if we are talking about especially in agriculture or maybe works that have to do, I don't know, maybe if you are using machines or it is hard labor, because I'm looking at the labor cost. Is it cost involving, labor cost involving, because you are dealing with more women, and I know when it comes to women in connection with work, especially in agriculture, their inputs will be more lower as compared to men, because you have less men as far as the job is concerned. So how labor effective it is. So these are my questions that I just want to ask. One, what are the strategies that you have put in place to ensure that it continues? That is the sustainability and the labor cost that's involved. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Musa, for your questions. And I will say that for the first question, I'll say is we have make sure that we put a unstoppable team with a diversity of people having different passion and backgrounds that we are having. So although I'm not around, I'm safe and sure that the work that I'm doing will remain there forever. Because we are not recruiting not everybody, but we make sure that people who are recruited in our team are really qualified and have first this commitment to make sure that they are leading without someone who is leading them. Reason why I would say we are practicing horizontal leadership. So no one is a chief. So everyone has this free responsibility to make sure that everything is done. So when you are accounted for any task, you don't need someone to push you to make this work done. But you make sure that, yes, there is self-awareness that so there is something that I need to make sure that contributes on the mission of this organization to grow. So, and this is the spirit that we are working in. And this also creates inclusiveness and also creativity, because no one is pushing you. You are just committed in doing what you are doing, and of course with passion. So about the costs in the labor, of course, in involving women. So what we are teaching is, when we say design, permaculture design, is men is focused only on less labor costs. And we need more creativity than strength that need to be spent on the work. So when you design something, so you design at once and make sure that you maintain the design forever. So I think something also that we encourage is to make sure that so when choosing a participant or beneficiaries, we see also on the on the stakeholders. So who is taking decision in the house? And if it's a man, so we consult also the men to make sure that we are on the same page. So when we go to work, so everyone is evolving. So not, okay, someone will be on something else and someone is doing something else. So, and cultivating the spirit of working together. So this is what we are doing. Not working as a single person, but working in groups. So, because working with one person, it's quite also awesome. And people don't have a source of income to invest in agriculture. But when we are working together as a community group, so it facilitates the low costs and also make the work more fast.
Thank you, Musa. Are you satisfied? Do you have a follow-up question?
Well, no, I just want to say thanks to him, and yeah, maybe I will just ask one more because I'm looking at the existing strategies also as well. Maybe I've come to community A and I want to shift now to community B. So, what are the existing strategies that you have as far as this particular initiative is concerned? So, I think that would be my last question. But anyway, all the other questions we are well answered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Musa. So I think the structure is always elaborated by groups or cohorts that have been trained. So every group need to fix a structure that they want, that they will, I mean, this structure will lead them to make sure that they reach their goal. So we are not the one who fixed the structure, but the group that we have been trained, they're the one who are fixing the structure on how they want to work. But the most important is to make sure that they are reaching the goal.
Thank you. Who would like to go next? Please put up your hand, virtual or physical, and ask a question. Peter, would you like to go? Would you like to unmute yourself? Go.
Yeah, I'm happy to go for another question. I'm wondering about the question of resilience. I mean, what you describe is is quite impressive, right? Being able to refertilize the ground and make sure it creates sustainable opportunity for harvest. My question is, I mean, how much work or thinking is now already done or underway in regard of creating resilience against future heat waves, higher temperatures, the loss of water? So the question is, I mean, is that something which needs to be or can be taken into account now or maybe tomorrow, where the topic of keeping fresh water intact or building forest plantation, whatever needed to just protect the soil and keep the water in there, so that you have a resilience against future increasing higher temperatures, heat waves, whatever comes up, right? Is that already something in scope, something you think about, or you can already start?
So I think this is where it's what we called, or our work, we describe as a regenerative cycle that we are doing. So first of all, we produce the organic fertilizer. And then we have seen this also cannot really work alone to make sure that farmers are resilient. However, we need to make sure that we plant trees that will enable the soil to store more water, even in the dry season. But also putting or design swales that's in the farm to make sure that the water is not going out of the farm, but we keep water in our farm. But also there is also crops that we plant that needs to make sure that contributes to fixing nitrogen in the soil. That's enable also to cover the soil to make sure that the sun is not really affecting the soil directly, plus mulching methods.
Peter, do you have a follow-up?
Thank you for sharing that. I'm quite impressed that you already are working on all these topics. Is there any further need for experts from other places, or do you feel you have all the expertise needed already within your team or within reach needed, right, to do all of this work?
So I think there is a need, and our needs is to make sure that in the team to have someone who have more expertise in how to scale this kind of projects, and make sure that we have enough resources to scale projects. So we are good, of course, we are good in piloting, but scaling is something else. It needs more diversity of experience to make sure that we reach a significant number of people. Because with the war that is happening in Sudan, South Sudan, and DRC, so refugees are increasing every day, and the humanitarian keep on decreasing also every day. So I think there is a big need that our work is needed to make sure that these people are not getting solution or get help, at least on having this basic state of food.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you. Are there more questions here? Not, I would maybe ask Sebastian, you put on your video. Does that mean you want to pose a question?
Sort of. I mean, MZ. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Please repeat.
Paulinho.
Paulinho.
Paulinho. I got in late here, and I have to leave in a minute again. I just realized the work you're doing. It's so important. I almost feel ashamed that I drop in. I have to drop out again. So maybe two things on my mind. First of all, I wanted to express for everything that you're doing. Secondly, I embrace some paradoxical thought that I carry in my head is that the work you're doing in a very condensed area. It's a refugee camp. People, I imagine, are very close to each other, and you're doing this important work that is teaching them on regeneration, especially when it comes to the use of water. So it's what I'm also hearing is an immense opportunity for education, and I don't know if you touched all of that. I just feel that very strongly, and I'll reach out to Thomas on how to maybe support you guys. Really amazing work you're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sebastian. I think every action counts, as little as possible, as much as possible. I think every action counts to make sure that we are responding on these humanitarian crises that Nakivalo refugee settlements is facing currently, especially in food.
Thank you. Thank you. I was going to ask Guguletu about her perspective, because she is a farmer in South Africa, innovating in aquaponics in South Africa. But unfortunately, she dropped. I guess it's either she has a call at this time because we're approaching the hour, or she just had a bad connection. But I will share this conversation on YouTube, and I will also share it on LinkedIn and in our other channels to help spread this. And maybe people will hopefully get in touch with you, Paulinho, and provide active support. I think, and my feeling is that we're coming to completion here for this time today. I would like to let it rest for a moment for all of us, and maybe there's a opportunity somewhere in the future for you to join here again and present what you're doing. So I'm deeply humbled and very grateful for the time and for you presenting here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas, and everyone for offering me this opportunity to present my work on this space. And I really thank you, everyone, for your questions and thoughts. It's really amazing and constructive. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
All of you. Ciao.
Ciao.